Welcome back to the show. The SEC versus Ripple case is over, and what the new Ripple acquisition of Rail really means. 12.5 trillion unlocked for crypto. What's next? XRP Supercycle, maybe? Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.94 trillion. Let me refresh this really quickly here. Yeah, still $3.94 trillion market cap for crypto. The market's up 0.9% in the last 24 here. Bitcoin holding 116,800 plus, Ethereum 3,900 plus, wants to be 4,000. XRP right now is $3.33. We're up 8.1 on the 24-hour and 11.2 on the 7-day. Now let's take a look at the range of price ranging between 302 and 336. Yeah, XRP strong like bull with the announcement that the SEC versus Ripple case is finally over. Wow, what a moment of time. It's so surreal. Like I said in the first video, if you want to learn more about the ending of the case, the first video this morning is exactly about that. You'll want to go watch that video in its entirety. And as well as that, I say, I've been in this space 8 years, 8+ years, or whatever it is now. For 5 of those years, we've been in this space with this case hanging over our head the entire time, while Maxis and tribalists take shots at us and tell us that there's no value here, when in reality, Ripple, XRP, and the Ledger were built and designed to work inside the financial system, and they didn't realize that they were talking down a project, a company, and a ledger that essentially is going to be embraced as a foundational bed of the new financial system and a new digital on-chain economy. And that's where they missed the boat. But that's okay, because now that we got this, now we need the Clarities Act and a few other things, and we're going to see this market rip. And then let's sit down and talk about what they think, right? Yeah. Right here, this is iTrustCapital. Let me tell you about what I think here. They have put together the premium custody accounts, which is a closed loop system to help protect all of us from our side of the responsibility fence. It's so super thought out. It's incredible. Institutional custody, award-winning US-based support, low cost, no monthly fee, 1% flat trading fee here. And listen, this is amazing because first of all, signing up is super, super quick and easy. You can do this so fast. It's unbelievable. You won't believe it. Look, you can trade 24/7 access to every asset offered in the platform. You can get all of that done. The only difference here is that you have to come out in cash. And the reason that is to remove the attack vector, like I said, from the responsibility side of the fence of the customer itself. That's how hard they're working to try to make sure that no one can steal your assets. God, I love it. It's just wonderful. So this is really, to me, in my game, you guys know I keep my assets on multiple different platforms. I always have. It's a core part of my foundational strategy for security in this space. And I tell you, this is one of them. And I have an IRA there too for 6 years now. I absolutely love it. And I tell you, you will love it too. All you have to do is go to itrustcapital.com/XRPArmy. You will see exactly what they've done, and you will love it too. I could tell you, these platforms that I'm working with help me get the best night's sleep I've ever had since I've been in crypto for the last 8 years. And now that this case is over, and I got these things like iTrustCapital's PCA and IRAs, I'm telling you right now, sleeping like a baby tonight, and you can too. Click the link underneath any video and get started today. Oh boy. Well, we got to change gears now. Now we got to go to this guy, Mark Yusko. Yeah, he decided to join Caitlin Long in trashing Ripple and XRP, right? Well, I could tell you that this is really simply how I see it. And I don't need to play it here because he took shot. Well, I'll just play a little bit of it.
It's kind of like Circle, right? So Circle, the guys spun out of Goldman Sachs and they start this business and everybody says, oh, that's stupid, it'll never work. And it just quietly, and look, everyone knows I'm not a Brad Garlinghouse fan, and I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm just not. But because of the way he did what he did with XRP, it's up. I told you it was up. Like, Great. You went from 220 to 265. Knock yourselves out. But
I think Mark Yusko needs to see a doctor. First of all, he's one of the most cowardly, passive-aggressive men I've ever covered on this channel. Very, very passive aggressive. I mean, and I tell you, that is such a low quality in a human, whether it's a man or a woman. I have zero respect for passively cowardly people, especially like this, when they take these, backhanded shots at others and stuff like that. Just say it like a man, right? But he can't, because he's never been one yet.
But he did start to do something interesting in the last year or so.
Oh, this he approves of, however, right?
Where he took this highly inflated asset.
It's not a highly inflated asset, dum-dum.
Okay, that he really created from nothing. It was just a ICO. And he owns a bunch of it. And started buying real businesses with an inflated currency. It's kind of what CoreWeave is doing with Core Scientific.
But it's okay for CoreWeave.
Mm-hmm. Right? CoreWeave was going to buy, it was with a Core Scientific was going to provide CoreWeave with a bunch of services, and they were going to have to pay them $10 billion a year. And they said, well, we'll just buy you for $8 billion. And that's a good thing. So you take your inflated stock and you buy an asset, and
your inflated stock, he just keeps going back to it like the price of XRP is for nothing. Listen, history is not going to be kind to people that are this thick, right? Because I tell you, this is just a marvel to watch. But, it's okay. Like, how do you think the U.S. dollar got started? What was backing the U.S. dollar? Gold in the early days, right? But what is backing it now? Nothing. They print it because they want to. I mean, it's unbelievable, these people, but it's okay to believe in a fake Satoshi, knowing that there's 4 of them that they won't even admit to. They're all scared to death because their wealth resides on the lie that Satoshi is some dude in a basement that just all of a sudden didn't think the world ran right. But we know that the SHA-256 rhythm's patented by the NSA. So I'll let you work it out from there. I'm not saying that I won't hold Bitcoin, but there's your truth. And I didn't say it like a passive, aggressive, cowardly man like Mark Yusko, who I invited to speak on stage at XRP Las Vegas in 2026. And you know what? Why don't you show us all you're not a coward, Mark, and answer my DM and join me on stage. I'll sit with you. I'll sit with you. I don't have a reason to be embarrassed, but you will. Why are all the Bitcoin Maxis activated? Well, let's take a look. If I can get this stupid thing away, what is going on here with this dumbass thing asking me to promote? I don't know what it is, but I could tell you why. Take a look at it. I'll just leave this right here. Look at this. Up 37.56%, up 442.41% on the year. Come on in. You see where we're at now, right? This is why all the Caitlin Longs and the Mark Yuskos and everyone else have come out of the woodwork to speak against XRP. They don't want to acknowledge that we're crushing every other coin in the space when it comes to percentage growth, including the top 2. Yeah, don't believe it. It's still true. Just like this, XRP market cap overtakes the size of Uber and PepsiCo. How about that? Yeah. Let's see. Did we cross the 200 billion mark yet? We're at 197. We're getting ready to cross it again. It's going to happen. You hang in there. We're doing it. It's coming. XRP's tops Wisdom Tree's July report with 384 gains when we know we had over 400 on the year. This is unbelievable. We're outperforming everything in the market, and everyone in the Bitcoin community and Ethereum VCs are trying to convince us we hold a crap coin. Oh, they're not going to like the way this works after the Clarity Act's passed. I can tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. On August 7th, yesterday, President Trump signed an executive order aimed what the administration criticizes as the ideological debanking of crypto individuals and organizations from U.S. banks, and that will be stopped now. And along with that, the president also signed an executive order unlocking 12.5 trillion in retirement capital. 401ks can now be in play, and even a small shift of that amount towards crypto could be a game changer for the industry. You could bet your bottom dollar that's coming. Financial analysts have been dying to be able to offer this to their clients for more than a decade now, and it's about to go down. No such thing, says Brad Garlinghouse. In speaking to the acquisition of Rail Financial here, he says, no such thing as the August doldrums at Ripple. Very excited to share that we're acquiring Rail Financial. Ripple plus Rail together will be the go-to provider of stablecoin payments infrastructure for global financial institutions around the world. Come on in. Yeah, $200 million acquisition there. Shout out to Brad. Cowboy Crypto goes on this one here. You're going to love it. He says, here's a list of U.S. licenses and disclosures Rail Financial holds, was just acquired by Ripple. Look at the state licenses here. Boom. The list is incredible. Look at the states for disclosures. Again, the list is remarkable. Look at this. He's got it all laid out here for us. Just incredible to see the level of licensure for Rail that is now underneath Ripple's umbrella. Combine this with Hidden Road, and boy, have we got an incredible, incredible system set up waiting to go live after we get the last of this legislation in place. Rail currently holds 10%, as we heard remarked earlier, holds 10% of the business-to-business, B2B, stablecoin payments market. Rail will use Real USD and XRP in payments. That's where we're going. Write it down. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. 10%. And I'll remind people of this too, by the way. You don't need to have 100% of market share to get the market. Oh, no, you don't. You want to get Swift's attention? You can do it with a small percentage of market capture. I can tell you that from experience. Take a listen to what Paul Barron has to say about the case.
Rail is now joining Ripple. Rail has a lot of cross-border payment settlement. This only increases the coffers for Ripple. One note in this tweet right here is this one right there, and it's that we power 10% of all B2B stablecoin volume, and now that we've got Ripple, we're going to scale faster. So 10% significant by one company, and now all of that sitting in Ripple.
There you have it. There's no other way to hear it. Shout out to Paul Barron. If you know, you know. Translation: Ripple isn't buying Hidden Road and Rail Financial because they're not getting a banking license. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They are acquiring these companies because they are going to get a banking license. Now lock in. The case is over. And all of these moves to tap into the legacy financial clearing and settlement here is coming alive. More of this is getting ready to happen. I don't think the acquisitions are done here for Ripple, by the way. I think this just gets better and better and better, and especially partnerships. We're going to see a lot more of that too as we get the Clarities Act passed. Remember, a big window for us coming up. We'll talk about it. But the proliferation of Real USD and other stablecoins that represent all other nations of the all other nations of the world will bring XRP into play to be activated for settlement of long-tail pairings that were never possible for settlement in the FX equities market. People aren't ready for what's coming. This is the truth. Listen to this. And by the way,
Ripple.
You may not know this guy, but this guy hates Ripple and XRP. Look at the disgust on his face. Look, he's so depressed. He's so down. I can't believe that this is happening. Oh, Santy.
Ripple's making another acquisition. So Ripple just announced that they're buying a stablecoin payments platform, Rail, for $200 million. I would love your guys' take on A, this deal, but B, just Ripple as a whole. I'm just gonna say it. I think they're buying their way into becoming a very real business.
They're already a real business, jackass. And your buddy Santi down there is having trouble processing all of it, just like you are. I got to be honest, this is just like Dumb and Dumber up in here, but Rob Haddock sitting in the middle trying to deal with the fact, knowing that they all can't stand Ripple and XRP. And he's just trying to give it to them as best he can without any of them needing a scream room.
Very real business here. And I would love to hear you guys' commentary on this.
Well, again, I don't know the deal specific. We talked about it in now prior multiple episodes, but Brad and team appreciate that they have a very valuable kind of currency.
Kind of currency?
That they are now using strategically to buy real assets.
And it's dawning on him just how powerful that is. Oh my goodness.
And Rob, I'm sure you can talk more about the Hidden Road acquisition, right? But again, this is very smart of them to, use XRP and their strong balance sheet and buy assets that I think, they're sort of working their way into real world businesses. And it's actually very, very astute, I think.
I'll tell you what else is astute too, is that I pick up the look on his face is like when a child realizes that the parents locked the remote so you can't get the channels that you wanted to, right? I mean, this dude's having trouble processing on an adult level. He's been stuck in Bitcoin speculative Maxi land for so long, and he probably made an ass ton of money, which I hope he did. Because I tell you, everybody wins a lot of money, gets a lot of money in a crypto world, and the next thing you know, they think they're an investor, right? They think they got all this investor experience, that they know everything. But it's dawning on him that he's out of his depth and he doesn't know what to say other than they're doing a great job, right? That's really what we're talking about here. What he hasn't still figured out is exactly what I said. The proliferation of RLUSD and other stablecoins that represent all the other nations of the world will bring XRP into play to be activated for long-tail settlement pairings on the back end of FX and equities markets to the tunes of trillions and trillions of dollars. Wait till that dawns on him. Hell, at that point, he may try to tell us to get some. Nothing's above these people, below them. Garlinghouse called the move a big step in Ripple's stablecoin strategy, acquiring Rail Financial, said it will make Ripple to the go-to infrastructure provider for institutions settling payments via stablecoins. See, Ripple has been preparing for a market post-regulation becoming law. And now it's dawning on all the short-sighted maxis what's actually happening here. And they all look like real smacked asses. That's what's happening, right? It's unbelievable what we're seeing happen here. I am super excited, super excited. And so's David Schwartz. Take a listen.
I think that they're going to be able, I think stablecoins are a good example. Stablecoins are a heavily regulated product. They're produced by institutions. They're subject to clawback and freeze. And yet they've enabled an open DeFi ecosystem. So I think that's the model that's going to repeat. So I don't want people to think that compliance is in any tension with decentralization and openness. I think the philosophy we've used on the XRP ledger, and I think that's going to drive the industry, is that people should be able to comply with the law. Because if they can't comply with the law, they probably won't use it.
Amen to that. This is exactly what I've been saying. This is what we're talking about here. You think you're just going to be able to work with the financial system and nobody's adhering to the law? Where did you escape from? Yeah, David Schwartz has got this spot on right here. No question. And you know what? With 1,700 contracts and NDAs that we found out about, but we didn't get the details. And by the way, remember, the SEC and Ripple both agreed to let them keep that information confidential because it was important to their business practice and strategies. Remember that? I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. And we still don't know who all those 1,700 contracts were to. And boy, would we love to see that. But I think that's why we're going to continue to see new partnerships announced, because a lot of them are under NDA and they will start burning off as we get the clarity that allows the financial institutions to come off the sidelines. And as we said, the Ripple case, SEC versus Ripple case, almost 5-year legal battle has come to a conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. This is a remarkable day. No question about it. And shout out to each and every one of you that have held so long. I have my hat off to you. We have done it. And now we get, listen, now let's take a look at this. So as I said in the first video, I just want to highlight this very quickly here. What's next now that the case is ended? XRP spot ETF approvals, including BlackRock to file. The Clarity Act becomes law. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. That's market infrastructure, and that's exactly what the XRP ledger is. The XRP ledger is to crypto what TCP/IP is to the internet that we're using right this moment. And don't believe it, it's still true. Ripple receiving that bank license and a Federal Reserve master account and everything else to go with it. I'm telling you, as Egg Rag Crypto says, trust me, you're not bullish enough for what's coming in the next few months. Only a few know. And you know what? As he says here, when you take a look at that channel, you go into this thing, you could see $8 to $27. Here's our window, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? I like where we are. I tell you, we have so much good in front of us. Hang in there, ladies and gentlemen. The fun is just about to begin. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. I'll catch all of you on the next one.